Hi everyone, it's Miss Brenner. We're going to continue on with our literary lens notes. We're going to start talking about new critical lenses. This is the most common lens and the lens that you have been spending the past 11 to 12 years of your education working to master. So this is reading a text for the unity and complexity of its form. The focus should be on the text itself and only elements within the text. So this is when you have been going through each story with a fine-tooth comb, going over characters, going over elements of literary function, sentence form, things like that. So my example is in Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare uses the love flower as a symbol of humanity's flaw of loving blindly. That humans love too swiftly without truly learning to take into account the elements of a relationship that matter most. So, as you can expect, some of the different elements that we have been covering over the past couple weeks are specifically for this lens. So new critical lens, some things that we need to focus on when using this lens is what types of symbolism are in the text, what themes reoccur throughout the text, what is the tone of the text throughout and in segments. So you can divide the story up into parts, such as the climax, and the rising action, all of the different plot elements. You can divide a text up into smaller segments like that and show how the tone has changed throughout the story. We could also go with how are the words and phrases structured. So sometimes rather than looking at the expedition and the rising action and the climax to signify changes in the story, we look at how the paragraphs and the wording is structured. Looking for longer paragraphs with deeper description to show our rising action and full body of plot, while sections that are shorter sentences and more compact probably are going to be more stagnant and not going to move the plot forward as much. What is the greatest strength or most noticeable weakness of a text? These are all different ways we can dissect a piece of literature using the new critical lens. My examples, one of them being Toy Story, specifically the fact that Andy writes his name on the bottom of Toy's shoes to signify their importance. So this would be an image of a motif or a form of symbolism where characters are chosen, and some are more chosen than others. Although they are a close-knit community, having that symbol on your foot kind of pulls you away from this community that you live in. It can either go to your head, like it does with Woody, where you feel like you are more entitled and are better than other characters, or it can cause a rift in the community because as new characters come in, they don't really understand the importance of this symbol. So this is just one new critical lens example that I have. Another one would be Sam I Am, Green Eggs and Ham from Dr. Seuss. So within this story, you could look at the rhyming text, specifically that Sam, the little gentleman here with the ham, over on this side, has much shorter segments than our protagonist, who does not want to eat the green eggs and ham. Sam has very short segments. Sam does not really get to say a whole lot, and when Sam does, it is very brief and just an A-B form rhyming, while our protagonist gets a lot more segments, and we therefore see a lot more character development through our protagonist than the antagonist. We get to see this change that seems to be hinted at as being the central theme within the story, that change, although can be difficult, change is necessary and healthy. And so our protagonist in the end does try the green eggs and ham and learns to adapt a little bit better and therefore actually enjoys the green eggs and ham. Alrighty, so the new critical lenses that I have picked, new critical lens videos that I picked out for us to do as review are The Beauty and the Beast and Inside Out. So both of these are going to be linked in the new Critical Lens folder for after this video. After you are done taking notes, you're going to go and use them to review. And then lastly, we have our Classist Lens. This can also be called the socioeconomic lens, but for the purpose of the fact that this course is mostly fictional, we are going to stick with classist because socioeconomic really focuses on economic groups rather than just social groups. Alrighty, so this is going to be reading a text for its ability to address social class structure, social interests of the workforce, or socioeconomic issues. So, in A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare depicts relationships between the very wealthy and the very poor. These relationships mirror our expectations of social classes for the time and interacting much like working pieces of clockwork. However, there is a veneer of polite classism that protects these characters from directly clashing. So throughout Midsummer Night's Dream, we don't see any characters other than Titania and Bottom pair up or really interact on a socially inclined level. The characters, although they do run into each other on time throughout, they act according to their class structure. The characters, we don't have Theseus trying to marry Helena. We don't have Bottom actually living happily ever after with Titania because that would not be correct according to the class structure for that time period. So this would be an example of the classist lens. So I'm going to take us back to Toy Story. I don't know, I'm just feeling the Toy Story lately. Toy Story shows a perfect example of this. We have Woody, who has been around forever and is the head honcho of the toy chest in Andy's home. He knows all the ins and outs, and he feels like therefore he belongs at the top. While Buzz is an outcast. He is brand new, he doesn't belong, and Woody doesn't like that about him, and that's why they constantly fight and clash. This classist structure does not only have to do with money, it can do with different groups of people who have different perspectives. We can see this in The Lion King. I'm going back to The Lion King again, something about this. Anyhow, classist lens. So we have the hyenas and we have the lions. They clash for some very obvious reasons. However, it's questioned if the hyenas could learn to be a little bit less wasteful, and the lions could learn to be a little bit more willing to compromise. Could these two groups live in unison? Probably. However, they don't. They seem to really hate and dislike each other, and the lions constantly conquer over the hyenas. This would be an example of a classist lens. So I have 2 video clips in Edpuzzle that I'd like you to watch after you are done taking your notes on the different lenses. One is from Princess and the Frog. It's the beginning portion. And the other one is from an older TV show called Bewitched. So, you're going to go through those videos and look carefully for examples of the classist lens within them, and then answer the questions for the Edpuzzles. Just so that way we are all aware of where to find these. If we go into the week 6 folder, into the activity 1 folder, we can see here is our gender lens example videos. We have Mulan, Emperor's New Groove, and Frozen. Psychological lens videos, we have Finding Nemo and Hocus Pocus. New critical lens videos are Pixar's Inside Out and Beauty and the Beast. And then our classist lens is Bewitched and The Princess and the Frog. So now that we are all done with our notes for literary lenses, I'd like you guys to go practice. I can't wait to hear all of the ins and outs that you find using these lenses, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!